welcome again. 3 more matches for you on the big match as another league season swings into action. And our main match is Spurs against Middlesbrough. Will things be better for Spurs this season? And just as important, why is Martin Chivers more confident about his future? He's our studio guest today and he'll be telling us why. Then newly promoted Aston Villa against Leeds United, and Leeds come up with the answer to those who say they're finished. And Luton Town against Hull City. How will Luton react to relegation to the second division? We provide the pictures, that provides some of the answers there today. And then, of course, there's your letters as well. More goals here as we show you how Queen's Park Rangers beat Borussia Mönchengladbach. But first, off to White Hart Lane to join that famous old cockerel, the Tottenham cockerel, in the sunshine for Spurs' opening game of the season against Jack Charlton's Middlesbrough. The setting is a perfect one, and our first task today is to acquaint you with the two teams. Spurs include 18-year-old Neil McNabb at number 7, in a side that misses the likes of Conn, Knowles, Duncan and Coates. Middlesbrough, for their part, leave out Alan Foggan, their top scorer last season, who's still not match fit, and also give another chance to an 18-year-old, it's number 10, Alan Willey. But even with these youngsters there, the sides are well stocked with experience. Spurs, with a slimmer-looking Martin Chivers, could have a big influence on their season. Middlesbrough with the likes of Terry Cooper, former Leeds and England fullback. Well, they breed them young on the terraces of White Hart Lane, and a couple of youngsters here have probably got the most exciting seat in the whole stadium. Mind you, there are some there who have seen it all before in the 25,000 crowd. The referee there today is Roger Kirkpatrick from Leicester.
So the new season is underway with Spurs in the white shirts attacking the goal to our left. Middlesbrough in that red strip with the broad white band. And attack really needs to be emphasised here today. With an up in the admission prices, desirability for so many people to get value for money, and certainly the setting is perfect for it. Excellent conditions, arguably the best pitch in London here at White Hart Lane. The temperature's dropped a little, there's a nice cooling breeze. Really first-class conditions, both for playing and for watching. And there's Jim Platt, the goalkeeper for Middlesbrough. So Kinnear waits for somebody to take up a worthwhile position. And it was Chris Jones who very nearly got away. Souness to Murdoch. Foul. Free kick to Middlesbrough. On Bobby Murdoch. Fine old Scottish international with many good seasons with Celtic behind him. And the referee inspecting the ball, which Pat Jennings was looking at 1 or 2 of those balls before the game and told me that they seem to be a little on the soft side. But he seemed to feel that there was a new regulation about the pressure within a ball. That's something we must investigate. And Roger Kirkpatrick deciding that he's got the right one now. The crowd enjoyed that. The season really is back again. Well, he couldn't keep it in. Could Cooper, and so it's a Tottenham throw. Well, Chris Jones first onto that one. Oh, and he's just wide. Well, when that throw was taken by Pratt, it was spotted quickly as a promising one by Chris Jones. I don't think he caught it quite the way he wanted to, but there's no denying that he was very close to putting Spurs into the lead. And there's an inquest still going on in that Middlesbrough defence. Sun out strongly now. Still beautiful conditions for football. Jones, oh, that was a rather brutal challenge by Craggs, but he played the advantage, which was good to see, Roger Kirkpatrick. And now Spurs take it up again with Neighbour. Trying to send Cooper the wrong way. And that's not so easy to do. But here's Kinnear, he'll have a go. And Cooper sticking with him. And I think an obstruction there by the former England player, Terry Cooper, on Joe Kinnear, giving Spurs an indirect free kick. from almost a corner position, just in from the flag. And Spurs are pushing Middlesbrough back. Again, they brought Keith Osgood up. Again, they'll look for the head of Chivers or Chris Jones. Kinnear with a free kick. Floated this time towards Jones. Osgood was in there too. McNabb. Beautiful bit of trickery there by Neil McNabb. Finding Chivers. Spurs fans enjoying this at the moment. Now with Osgood. Blasted first time. Yes! Scored by Chris Jones. And the man who scored 4 goals in 5 pre-season games, Chris Jones. No, disallowed. Disallowed. There must have been an offside there. And amidst all that Tottenham jubilation, Chris Jones must have been fractionally offside. So it sticks at 0-0. But already we've seen enough to suggest that Spurs are playing with confidence. And the crowd begin to sense it too. After being in their shell for so long last season, a good start would work wonders for them. Remembering, of course, they're playing against a side that showed great form last season, finished 7th in the First Division and beat Spurs 3 times. Well, Spurs have got another corner. Terry Neal with his new coach Keith Birkinshaw on the left of the picture from Newcastle. Jimmy Neighbour rather with the corner, and here's Neighbour again, leaving it this time for Pratt. Perryman going in there. Chivers couldn't quite get in there. And this for Spurs, remember, without Cyril Knowles injured and without Alfie Conn, who is suspended. But still it's 0-0. They've still got to break Middlesbrough down. Perryman. Neighbour. Back for Kinnear. That's a long kick by Pat Jennings, and it's not away yet by any means as Jones goes in there again. A great punch away though by Pratt turning it in again. Jones again with a header. Well, we said at the start a lot might depend on the form of Chivers. I think as far as Spurs are concerned, a lot will also depend on the form of young Chris Jones. There's Chivers, but I think Jones might have a fair bit to say this season as well. Callister's header. Nobody there, not for Tottenham. Cooper for Middlesbrough. And Osgood again in very positively there for Spurs. Boom. Naylor. McNabb. A handball. Well, it may have been a harsh decision, but it was good to see there was no arguing from Neil McNabb. Mills playing it back for Craggs. Floated in there first time towards Kinnear, but it was Armstrong who got there, and in fact it went against the post, and Jennings grabs it at the second go. Well, the ball was played in early there for Middlesbrough, and it was a lovely jump by Armstrong against that Tottenham post. Jimmy Neighbour to Neil McNabb. Terry Naylor. McNabb continuing the run, doing well. Pratt. Naylor. Mills refused to be beaten. John Pratt will take the throw. Towards Martin Chivers. Headed there towards Perryman. And a little bit of urgency required in the Middlesbrough defence to get that one away. It's with Kinnear, and there's a push on Kinnear which gives Spurs the free kick. Kinnear didn't hear the whistle go as we come into the last 2 minutes of the first half. And a free kick for Tottenham. Well, they got Osgood up again Floating again towards Osgood and Chivers, and it was Osgood, and it had to be flicked over by Platt. Both Osgood and Chivers rising for that lovely free kick from Kinnear. And Platt at the last just tipping it over. But a corner for Tottenham. Very evenly contested first half. Chivers, a glancing backward header. Jones is there, can he turn with it? He can, and it took a deflection, and Craggs chested it down. The crowd thought he didn't, but the referee, who was well placed again, had no hesitation. No handball. Cooper. And again, Chivers first to react to that one. Played back for McNabb. Now for Chivers again. Saunis, and yet another back pass, which has tainted this Middlesbrough play in the first half. In fairness to them, they've thrown a few men forward and they've created a few chances themselves. They've been as adventurous as you would expect an away side to be. Hickton. Right at the end of the first half now. As the whistle goes for half-time, the first half played in good spirit. The only time the ball's been in the back of the net, it was disallowed when Chris Jones, the number 10 for Tottenham, was offside and his header didn't count. Middlesbrough have hit the post once with David Armstrong. A well-contested and evenly contested first half, and a lot more to come on the big match this afternoon. But we leave White Hart Lane just for a couple of minutes or so with a half-time score here. Spurs 0, Middlesbrough 0. We'll be right back.
Thirty-second roll to TX.
Fifteen-second roll coming at the burst of tone.
Welcome back then as we go into the second half after a well-mannered and evenly contested first half with Spurs 0, Middlesbrough 0. Middlesbrough now, of course, attacking the goal to our left. We're guilty of a number of back passes in that first half, but I think overall they really put a fair bit of attacking work into the first 45 minutes. But now it's Spurs on the attack with Martin Chivers. Neighbour. Carving himself a nice little opening there, but it was a fraction too high for John Pratt. McAllister. Bohm getting down very low there. Perryman spotting that Jones had got a yard or so for himself. Chivers is right there, couldn't take it, and neither could Perryman quite. And Pratt with a shot. Hit powerfully and low there. Right on target, but right at Jim Platt. Osgood. Kinnear. Murdoch versus McNabb. Nice ball by Murdoch. Armstrong. Higton got his shot in that was curling very interestingly there, but I don't think it would have quite gone in. Craggs with the header. And Mills. Oh, Kinnear's given it away to Willie. This is the chance now for Middlesbrough. Still with Willie. Oh, and a great save by Pat Jennings. Well, the Spurs defence made a right mess of that. And Willie had time in the end almost to pick his spot. But Jennings showed again what a great goalkeeper he is. Nab. Stopped that time, though, by Craggs. Cooper struggling to get to that one, and Neighbour beating him well. That's a good cross as well. Oh, my goodness, I thought he'd put it into his own goal, Madron. Neighbour took that well, a good cross, and Madron headed it behind for the corner. And here is the corner. And John Pratt there. Oh, and he's hit the crossbar. Kinnear is in there as well, and Spurs with no luck at all. Osgood was right in there, and I think, in fact, it was Osgood's header. And back that time by David Mills. Oh, no luck at all for Tottenham there. Madron plays it for Cooper. Armstrong, who's been very quiet. Another back pass coming up. Yep. Minutes left, and still 0-0. It's Higton. Crosses the ball, and McNabb gets it away. Cooper. Oh, what a good run by Craggs. And a very good spot indeed by Terry Cooper. This could be dangerous for Tottenham, and Jennings is there again. Those two Middlesbrough fullbacks did so well there. Cooper spotting that run by Craggs, and a very good run it was. Jones versus Cooper. Higton letting it run, giving himself a yard. Kinnear down. The trainer will be on for the first time. Yes, the new Spurs physiotherapist, Mike Varney. Whether he's writing a message, doing an autograph, I can tell you that he cadged that cigarette off somebody behind. Saw him do that a couple of minutes ago. He's a great cadger of cigarettes, Jack Charlton. Kinnear's all right. To the relief of Terry Neal. Mills planting that one in, and those big hands of Pat Jennings clasping the ball. Now Naylor. Not a bad run to McNabb. McNabb again. Oh, there's a bit of space there for him. Saunis. Pratt. Jimmy Neighbour. Again trying to get round Cooper, and does so. Oh yes! Perryman! A beautiful goal for Tottenham. Lead out of nothing. And Steve Perryman gets Spurs off the mark this season. Jimmy Neighbour, who's had a magnificent game down both flanks for Tottenham. Slipped that ball in low. Perryman got there a fraction before any of the Middlesbrough defenders. Back of the net, Spurs 1, Middlesbrough 0. So Steve Perryman makes it 1-0. Against a strong defensive side, and Middlesbrough really have defended strongly, particularly in the second half, with a lot of composure and a lot of organisation. And it says a lot for Spurs that they've kept going at them and have broken them down at last. But here's Mills with a deep cross, and Jennings once again behind it. 3 times last season these two sides met. Middlesbrough humiliated Spurs 4-0 in the League Cup and beat them twice in the league. And Spurs at the moment, with those banners flying behind that Middlesbrough goal, are having a little bit of their own back. They've waited long enough for this. So that's what Terry Neal wants, no slackening at all. Very satisfying too for Keith Birkinshaw, the coach in the middle there. Now it's Chivers for Tottenham. The crowd really behind them, hoping to get it onto that left foot. 10 minutes now to go, and Perryman's pass not coming off. Armstrong, but here's Osgood. Really a typical little Perryman goal, and a lovely pass by him to Kinnear. Played there across for Chivers. Oh, what a great header! Straight into the arms of Platt. Beautiful play by Tottenham. A lovely slanting cross, and a really full-length header by Chivers straight at Platt. Sarnes, Mills, Sarnes, and even Craggs, willing though he is, won't get to that one. And time is running out for Jackie Charlton and Middlesbrough now. That's a shot that tells a lot. Willie, Mills, Murdoch. Craggs again going out there, and Chivers had come back, but the ball still found its way to that full-back. That's not a bad cross either, and McAllister under pressure, and so too are Spurs, and Pratt finally gets it away. Bohm, Kinnear, Bohm again, Craggs. Oh, this might come now for Willie. No, stopped by Osgood. It'll come for Sarnes. No, stopped again by McAllister. Spurs really hurling themselves in the firing line there to get that ball away. Trip and a free kick. And the old Scot lifts the young Scot. And Spurs get a free kick. Well, if he keeps his head, he could have a tremendous future here and bring a lot of pleasure to a lot of people, I would think, young Neil McNabb. Chivers, it looked like a push in the back, and it didn't escape the eyes of the referee. Hickton. Armstrong back for Craggs. High towards a couple of players who are in there. Hickton is one of them, and Willie was the other. And Spurs left them dangerously unmarked there for a moment. Here's Cooper. Still the whistles go on from the crowd, who want that last whistle to go that gives Spurs 2 points, and it's a free kick though to Middlesbrough. 2 minutes to go. Well, will Middlesbrough now snatch this late equaliser? David Armstrong with the free kick. And Kinnear no more than about 4 yards off the ball. He'll have to go back a bit. Free kick now taken. Bohm had come up on the far side, and a corner now for Middlesbrough, put behind there by Chivers. So skipper Stuart Bohm right up there at that near post. Deafening whistles all around White Hart Lane. It won't in any way influence the referee, and a great fist away though by Pat Jennings. Craggs playing it wide again for Armstrong, and he'll want to put it in again. There it goes once more, lining up there. Boom! Yes! 1-1. No, disallowed, and they're crowding around the referee, and it's a test of that new policy of Jack Charlton's about arguing with the referee. He said there was a push as Bohm went in, and the goal was disallowed. He bites his lip, but accepts the decision, Jack Charlton. And there's relief there, with a quick look at the watch to go with it. Inside the last minute. McNabb, beating Murdoch as though he didn't exist. And what a ball there for Neighbour. Now, can he get a good cross in? He can as Pratt goes in, but there was a good fist as well. Jones on the turn, nodded away though. McNabb coming in. And Pratt down and injured. As Armstrong takes it up now with Craggs. What a fast and furious finish we got here. Chivers. McNabb is down and injured as well. Getting up and trying to get onside. And it's chaos for the moment. 3 Spurs players are down. Neighbour, McNabb and Pratt. And the physio doesn't know who to go to first, and obviously there was something that happened there with Jimmy Neighbour, and Stuart Bohm was involved. Well, they're all fitting on their feet again. Well, at least on their feet again. And Spurs know that they are now a matter of seconds, as the referee looks at his watch again, a matter of seconds away from a really heartening and victorious start to the season. Cooper's header. Pratt after it. Crossed in again pretty early. Craggs, who's had such a marvellous game in that Middlesbrough defence. Murdoch hiking that one away. Hickton. It's a throw to Middlesbrough. With another look at the referee's watch. And some more whistles from the crowd. And Spurs are still not quite there. Looks at both linesmen. Madron plants it in again. Now with Armstrong. Now with Souness. And Kinnear got that one away for Tottenham, as far as Martin Chivers. Now it'll come for Pratt. And the whistle goes, and Spurs have won. A side that escaped relegation last season by a single point makes a much better start to this season with 2 points. The goal coming from Steve Perryman just over 10 minutes from the end. A typical little Perryman goal, going in where it hurts and going in and finding that he can win. And so it is then that Middlesbrough, who defended strongly and defended well, go away with nothing, as we have a final scoreline here at White Hart Lane that says Spurs 1, Middlesbrough 0.
Well, defended well maybe, though afterwards Jackie Charlton claimed that that was the worst display Middlesbrough had put up since their return to the First Division. But of course there's no denying at the same time that it was a highly encouraging start for Tottenham. And it's a pleasure to welcome as our studio guest today Martin Chivers. But before I talk to Martin, let's just clear up the matter of those 2 disallowed goals. The first one, of course, came in the first half for Spurs by Chris Jones. Given for offside. Martin Chivers playing the ball back here, and as Keith Osgood comes in, remember, at the point of contact at this shot, look at the top left-hand side of your picture. It's Joe Kinnear, in fact, the defender who's come forward, who is level with the last defender at least. And that, of course, constitutes offside. Chris Jones, as he heads that ball, a reaction header really, was onside, but Joe Kinnear was in an offside position and, according to the referee, interfering and influencing with the play, so he was right. What is more mystifying, though, is why the Middlesbrough equaliser in the last minute was disallowed. Certainly there's no pushing there by Middlesbrough players on Tottenham players as they come in, and nobody could be offside as Bohm collects the ball and slips it past Pat Jennings. But the referee said that, in fact, there'd been some calling there, either somebody shouting right or leave it, and, of course, that's against the laws. That was why it was disallowed. Let's turn now to Martin, and it's good to see you in the studio again with us, Martin, and also good to see Spurs making such a good start to the season. Were the players satisfied with that performance yesterday?
I think reasonably satisfied. Being the first game of the season, there's always a bit of extra pressure on us after such a disappointing season last year.
But there was confidence there as well, and I think that was shown when, in fact, Steve Perryman scored that goal for you.
Yeah, there was confidence in John Pratt and Jimmy Neighbour.
Well, here's John Pratt now and Jimmy Neighbour coming up.
It's a good ball forward from John Pratt, but the confidence of Jimmy Neighbour in turning and taking his man on again. He beat him so many times yesterday. And the ball into the near post, met by Stevie Perryman, getting in where it hurts.
Which he does so
scoring a very
often.
good goal. I think he's got more confidence in going that little bit forward now, whereas he never scored many goals in his first years at Tottenham, but now he's getting in positions to score these.
There seemed a refreshing new outlook, and I think a lot of people were impressed again by this young Neil McNabb. What's it like playing with him?
Well,
18 years old?
Marvellous control, sometimes frustrating, as he knows, because he does like to run with the ball. He'll mature. I think he's very much on the lines of Alfie Conn, that he likes to run with the ball, but there is a time when you must release it as well. But he certainly had a good game yesterday.
And an enormous confidence in himself.
Yes, very much. You know, confidence showed in the second half. He was taking everybody on.
I think people who know you would say that you've never really lacked confidence, but you had a sharpness about you, I thought, yesterday that we haven't seen for quite a while. And in fact, you very nearly got on the goal mark with a beautiful goal. Tell us about this one coming up now, this header. Just after you scored, in fact, wasn't it? The confidence of Perryman.
The confidence of Stevie Perryman pushing that ball forward to an advanced Joe Kinnear on the right side there. He did play it into me. I met it well, and unfortunately it went straight at the goalkeeper.
In fact, you probably met it too well if it had been...
Yes, I think if I miscued it slightly, there was more chance of it going in.
Yeah. I say you look sharper, you look leaner and hungrier. You've lost a bit of weight.
Yes, I've lost nearly a stone, which it may be the answer to my sluggish football last season. I certainly was coming off the field feeling rather exhausted. But being a tall player, I think 1 stone on me, extra weight, didn't show too much. So no one ever said, "Are you overweight?" And I suppose I could never see it. If no one says anything and I don't feel it too obviously.
But that's a change in that people can see in your body. But has there been a change in your mind as well? Because I think people feel that the last couple of years of you at Tottenham have maybe been wasted years.
No, there's nothing wrong with my mind. It is purely physical. I'm confident enough to do well.
But have you played to your potential in the last couple of years?
No, there's been no lack of effort, but I haven't been able to do it. And perhaps this is the answer. I'm trying everything. This is one way of trying.
Do you regret not having got down to maybe a more fighting weight in the last couple of years then?
Well, I never thought of it, as I say. It's one of those things that if no one ever said, "Are you overweight?" They knew my weight at Tottenham, which was 14 stone. When you get to the age of 30, I think that the time comes when you have to think of your weight. You can't carry around 14 stone. I don't think there's many forwards at 14 stone in top-class football.
But I'm astonished. I've got the impression there's an attitude, a change in your whole attitude to the game. You seem keener about things.
I'm enjoying my football very much. I would like to relax. I am more relaxed now than I was 2 years ago. I think it's because there was so much pressure on me outside football with the England. We had that tragedy at Wembley against Poland, and I feel that I took quite a lot of criticism for it. Therefore, it was always hanging over me. I would go to other grounds, and they would all remind me that I lost the World Cup. where in fact I think it was slightly unfair to blame it on one person.
Your personal life is a lot happier now. You've married happily to Julia. Everybody knows that now. Has that been a big influence on your football as well?
Yes, a fantastic influence. I don't think we've got enough time to talk about her and the good things that she's done for me.
What about Keith Birkinshaw now, who's joined the coaching squad at Tottenham from Newcastle? Is he getting you going a bit?
Yes, apparently he was very well liked by the players at Newcastle. No one knows the reasons why he left up there, but he was very well liked by the players, and he's certainly getting to be very well liked by our players.
What about you personally now in the future? Do you still see yourself as a man that Don Revie will look at?
One thing at a time, I think, at the moment. I would like to play a regular part in Tottenham's comeback. I really believe Tottenham can come back and will come back, and I would like to have a regular number 9 on my back each week for the first team.
And then if that happens, a regular number 9 in another white shirt?
Well, I hope so. I don't think it's beyond me, I can say that.
Martin Chivers, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Well, now we move on to our second match, and to Luton Town, whose brief stay in the First Division before they were relegated last April could have had really a sickening effect on their morale. But how will they react to being back in the Second Division? Well, yesterday they gave the first indication when they were at home to Hull City. Anglia's cameras were there, the commentators Jerry Harrison. Luton are in the dark shirts and black shorts.
Steve Litt getting in there, and now it's Anderson and Ron Future. A little bit of a misunderstanding between these two. Ryan misses it, coming back fast on Greenwood, and it's Hull City's throw. Chris Kelvin to Wagstaff. Oh, a good bit of play, giving De Vries a lot of space with Wood over there, but not the ball he really wanted. Banks, Alston, proving again what an awkward customer he is. John Aston against Banks. Good cross. Future's free. Must score. Beautifully worked by Luton Town for their first goal in the Second Division, the first of the new season, and it all stemmed from a good bit of work by Adrian Alston in the middle of the field, causing trouble for Banks. He gets it to John Aston. John Aston indicating why John Kay, the Hull City manager, thinks he's the danger man. A marvellous cross, leaving Future free to whack one in off the post. 1-0. Ron Future. Adrian Alston is there. He had more time than that. Faulkner, an awkward bounce. Roberts getting away from John Aston. Grimes, good bit of play. A scything tackle coming in. And Wagstaff's free in the middle there, but when you're 30 and it's hot, you've got to be more accurate with the passes. Nice one from Adrian Alston. West to Aston. Space for Faulkner. Peter Anderson is square there. He takes over. King. Desperate to get it to John Aston, is having a fine game. Again 2 against 1, but he gets the crossover. Adrian Alston. Future, awkward one, off the bar. King, it's in, 2-0. Andy King, playing his first full league game, scores his first league goal. His birthday this week, and it looks as if it was his birthday today as that one came off the bar. And again, John Aston very closely involved in this. The cross from his right foot, knocked back by Adrian Alston. Future just has a quick go off the bar, and a present for King. 2-0 for Luton Town. West. Malcolm Lord putting him under pressure. Ryan over there. Touch of the First Division there. Anderson getting away with it, but the referee's blown for the free kick. So Luton leading by 2-0 with 2 minutes to go before half-time with a free kick. King takes it, up goes Adrian Alston, beaten by Roberts, and that's a corner. With Faulkner, the centre-half, coming up. Litt is staying back. Faulkner indicating that he wants to go in the goal area. Future is to go at the back. John Aston to take it. Up goes Faulkner. Now it comes to Future. Future again. Surely a handball, but it hit somebody's elbow. Appeals from Alston to referee Chalice. Appeals from Faulkner to the linesman over this far side that Frank Banks kept that ball out with his arm. He certainly couldn't have known anything about it. As Ron Future hit it, tremendous drive, and off the armour post and away.
So well done, Luton, a good start there. But now on the programme, it's time for your letters. And the first one harks back to that penalty save by Peter Miller of Fulham last week against Chelsea in the Anglo-Scottish tournament. Graham Gardner of 29 The Rise, Ashford in Kent, wrote to me about it. And one of the points raised was, what does a referee do if he sees a goalkeeper deliberately moving his feet before the kick is taken? Well, as we look at it again, we see Butch Wilkins running up to take this kick against Peter Miller, and you see Peter Miller's right boot fractionally move off that line, which of course is an offence. I think you can excuse the referee for not having seen it. But supposing the referee had seen Peter Miller moving his feet before the kick was taken, a lot of people feel that he would go up and caution him about it. But in fact, the International Board decision on Law 14 of penalty kicks says quite clearly, if after the referee has given the signal for a penalty to be taken and before the ball is kicked, the goalkeeper moves his feet, the referee shall nevertheless allow the kick to proceed, but it shall be retaken if a goal is not scored. So if the fellow plants it wide or the goalkeeper saves it, the goalkeeper obviously is penalised for having moved his feet. Several letters in the past few days from Queen's Park Rangers fans. They're convinced it's going to be their season, and they certainly got off to a flying start yesterday with that win over Liverpool. But the signs were there even before that, and we can show you now how they thrashed the West German champions, Borussia Mönchengladbach, in a pre-season game in Germany. In fact, in the university town of Marburg. Here's Herbert Wimmer, the great West German international, on the ball at the moment, putting it through for Jensen, past Phil Parkes, and that's the German champions 1-0 in the lead. I know Dave Sexton, the Rangers managers, always had a tremendous regard for Mönchengladbach and the way they play, so he must have been really delighted with this Rangers performance. And here's the Rangers equaliser coming up now, and it's Stan Bowles who's sneaking into the 6-yard area to make it 1-1 there. Beating Bertie Vogt, the number 2, the great West German World Cup player. And now Bowles again with a corner in the second half for QPR. And who's there to meet it with his head? It's David Webb. And that's 2-1 then to Queen's Park Rangers. Sounds like a good sprinkling of Rangers fans there in the 7,500 crowd, and they were given something else to cheer a little later on, because Rangers goal number 3 now coming up. The long cross coming in, and it's not often that Stan Bowles scores with his head quite like this, but there's a good header there, beating the defender, beating the goalkeeper, Clef, the West German international, and that is 3-1 now to Queen's Park Rangers. But there was still another goal to come, and again Stan Bowles had a hand in it. There's his little chip in, and although Borussia Mönchengladbach get it away, it's dinked back in once more. And here's Don Masson on the ball, beating Clef, the goalkeeper. A lovely little chip, and who's there again? David Webb. His second goal of the game, and the 4th for Queen's Park Rangers. Mönchengladbach 1, Queen's Park Rangers 4. Well, a great performance there by Rangers. I'm sure that'll have pleased their fans as well. And remember, we're always glad to get letters from you, even though it's not always possible to answer them all, though we even try to do that as well. So if you've something to say, this is the address I'd like you to write to. The Big Match, London Weekend Television, London SE1 9LT. The Big Match, London Weekend Television, London SE1 9LT. And some more letters for you next week. But now some more action, and it's newly promoted Aston Villa against Leeds United at Villa Park. The biggest crowd of the day in England, some 46,000 were there, to see how Villa would fare back in the First Division. Almost as many, I suppose, to see if Leeds at last were over the hill. Well, they got their answer all right, as ATV's cameras now show. The commentator's Hugh Johns, Leeds are in the all-yellow strip.
very nearly got Coombs in a lot of trouble. Quick dash, electrifying burst from Mackenzie. And again, the big boot. Mackenzie, McQueen rather, now it's Grayton. Good cross, and the shot on for Phillips. It's a goal. Lake Phillips. 1-0 Villa. Aston Villa have scored their first division goal in something over 8 years. Lake Phillips has got it. 1-0. 7-8 minutes into the first half. So that ball coming across from Grayton, not firmly cleared. Lake Phillips whacks it. Harvey gets his fingers to it. Couldn't hold it. Tremendous throw as Brian Little looks for Grayton. Grayton looking for the left foot shot. Gitman now. Phillips can go again for Hamilton. Beautiful ball. Little chip needed. What a beautiful ball that was too. Perfectly weighted for Hamilton. Frank Ray. Yorath for Lorimer. Clark faced by Aitken. Yorath. Bremner, the flick on for Gray. Handball inside the box. That's a penalty against John Gitman. That's it. An involuntary moment from John Gitman. That long flighted ball aimed for Frank Gray. The flick on the head by Billy Bremner. John Gitman involuntarily making contact with his hand. But quite clearly a penalty. No disputing it. So, Peter Lorimer, scorer of 16 goals last season, looking now against Coombs for the equaliser. 1-1. Well, the Villa fans don't like that at all. But a clear penalty inside the box. The only dispute as to whether the player played the ball or the ball played the player. Breaks for Carradis. The long one, and Harvey had to be right. Foul given, but Free Johnson not allowing contact to be made. One presumes that it was because it wasn't a fair shoulder-to-shoulder tackle, and in fact I think he's getting booked for it. He is. Well, that seems very stern punishment. And Leonard looks a little bemused by the moment. Gitman as far as Mackenzie, which he didn't intend. Now it's Clark. Yorath. Lorimer coming to him. Can go again for Reaney. Looks instead for Clark, who'd made a little bit of space in there. Mackenzie, Clark. Reaney is outside on the right. Clark supporting him from behind. The head from Mackenzie. Got a little spin on it. Graydon on the breakout. And Reaney, the man who crossed it, was there to cover. But it's on. From Little to Hamilton to try the shot. Oh, that took a wicked dip. A zooming, belting, volleyed shot with a lot of dip on it. Unfortunately for Hamilton, it started to dip after it had cleared the crossbar. A bad mistake there, losing it. Little against Madeley. Madeley hasn't done too much wrong down there this afternoon. Graydon, and a goal! Leonard Shawley! Oh, that was unlucky. Now, what has the referee given? A goal kick. Well, that was unlucky for Villa. Leeds certainly were caught out by that cross ball. And Harvey and Leonard almost running into each other. Just had to come off Leonard. Harvey a little fortunate. Carradus. Leonard. Great. Good one, Little. Fired hard from Ray Graydon's right boot. Brian Little rising well like a trout going up for a fly, but the ball skidding off the top of his head. Not on target. Clark. Ayorath. Switching it for Mackenzie. Looks for Cherry. Yorath. Bremner. Gray comes for Yorath. Aitken got a touch. And that was a terrible mistake again. It's Lorimer who stuck it in. So Lorimer gets his second goal of the game. And unfortunately it was Jim Coombs who dropped the clanger. Luckless Jim Coombs, who had earlier dropped one shot. There seemed to be no real trouble then for Villa. The ball coming back. Coombs had it. There it was gone. Lorimer ghosting in. And he's made it 2-1 to Leeds.
So what is sure to be the goalkeeping mistake of the season gets Leeds off in the right mood, and that's it for this week. Just one thing though before we go, this season we're starting the Big Match autograph book, when we shall get the signatures of all our studio guests, plus many others as well, to be used as a prize for one of our competitions later in the season. That's the book that you can see there. So Martin Chivers is the first name to go into the book. Martin, would you please for us? Best wishes. Martin Chivers. And of course, week by week throughout the season, we shall be keeping you in touch with just the names that are going into that book of ours. So the first week of the league season is over. Thank you, Martin. And not a bad one, really, for Martin Chivers and for Spurs. Two things in particular promise much, I think, for their season. The remarkable skills of 18-year-old Neil McNabb and the confidence that finally broke down stubborn Middlesbrough yesterday. See them again as we say good afternoon.
Now again. Oh, there's a bit of space there for him. Saunis. Pratt. Jimmy Neighbour. Again trying to get round Cooper and does so. Oh, yeah!